What's going on, everybody? My name is Gents Sports, aka Gents716 back here again, and today I want to talk to you guys quickly about the Minnesota Vikings going against the Chicago Bears. Now, before I get into this video, sending my prayers out to Nick Foles and his family. I know he was hurt and he was carted off towards the end of the game. So again, hoping for a speedy recovery when it comes to Nick Foles. But quickly talking about this game, guys, this was a good win for the Minnesota Vikings. It keeps their playoff hopes alive. I know a lot of Minnesota Vikings fans were kind of skeptical about how the Vikings would finish off, especially around this point of the season. A lot of people were saying that, hey, the Vikings could tank for potentially for Trevor Lawrence, but they've been on a roll. I think they've won 2 games in a row prior to this game. Dalvin Cook has been extremely hot for the Minnesota Vikings. He's been the best running back in football, and Dalvin Cook, again, didn't have as good as a game as we saw in the previous ones, but still 30 carries, 96 yards. He was able to have an impact on this game. And, his presence in the football field was able to set up the passing game for the Minnesota Vikings. And speaking of the passing game, I feel like the passing game was pretty efficient today. I understand Kirk Cousins had an interception, but Kyle Rudolph was involved a lot, especially on play action. I know Justin Jefferson had an amazing game, 150 receiving yards. He's on his way to potentially being being rookie of the year for the Minnesota Vikings, for the NFL. And then you look at Adam Thielen. He was able to have a pretty decent game for the most part. There were some other playmakers that showed up today, but the Minnesota Vikings got to give them a lot of credit for what they were able to do, especially to Kirk Cousins, who I know a lot of Vikings fans don't like Kirk Cousins anymore, but he was good enough for them. He was much more, it was a game managing role, right? He wasn't a superstar out there. He was a game manager tonight, but for the most part, he was pretty efficient, and the Vikings were able to get the victory. As far as the Chicago Bears goes, this was not a good look for the Chicago Bears. This sets them up in a very, very bad position. And now that your starting quarterback is gone and Nick Foles, I don't know. They had Tyler Bray out there. I don't know what's going on with Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know if he's hurt or if he's under COVID protocol or something like that. But Mitchell Trubisky could be out there. He could be out there maybe soon. Again, I don't know. I don't follow the Chicago Bears. Maybe you guys can tell me in the description, in the comment section, why he wasn't involved. But the Chicago Bears, they got to find something out. This was a game once again where despite how efficient this Vikings offense was, the defense still held them under 20 points. When you hold a team to under 20 points, you have done your job as a defense. And it's at this point, and again, people can say, well, the Vikings had this many yards and that. You hold a team to under 20 points, you did your job as a defense. And at that point, it's the offense's responsibility to try to follow up what the defense was able to do. And this is not the only time this has happened. This has pretty much been happening for the most part since the Chicago Bears started losing. It's been the defense that stepped up, and it's been the offense that's kind of been lackluster. Matt Nagy has got to figure out, because this is not the only season that this has happened. This cost them last year. And even when they had that 12-4 season, no one thought that this offense was really, really good. People thought that this was an offense that relied a lot on the defense. And this is the third year. This is the third year in a row now where the defense has almost the same personnel as they did back in 2018 with Khalil Mack and Eddie Jackson, and you look at Fuller and the rest of those guys up there. I mean, this Bears defense, it's still there as far as personnel wise, right? Roquan Smith has stepped up and be like, Roquan Smith had one hell of a game, man. He had 3 tackles for loss, led the team in tackles. He had one hell of a game, was flying over the football field. But people are just going to ignore that performance because of what the offense did. I mean, you got to feel bad for the Chicago Bears defense, even if you're not even a Bears fan, because as a Bills fan, I know exactly how it feels when your offense was lackluster and your defense was the one that stepped in. This happened to us in 2019. But the Chicago Bears, their offense is honestly worse than last year's Buffalo Bills offense. I mean, Matt Nagy has got to do something. I mean, just watching this game, they weren't innovative enough. They weren't creative enough. They didn't adjust well to what the Vikings were giving them. It was just a bad look for the Chicago Bears offense. Just no creativity at all. No adjustments. Again, it's sad. Even despite the poor performance by this Bears offense, there were still opportunities for them to win the game, especially in one with under 2 minutes when Nick Foles, if he just would have delivered a little bit a little less touching the ball, Anthony Miller could have came down with it. It could have been a touchdown, and the Bears could have won this football game. You know, it's just it's sad. But this is something that Matt Nagy has got to figure out, because Bears fans are getting tired, man. Bears fans are getting real sick and tired of the same thing happening, where the Bears defense is the one that carries and the Bears offense is the one that's lackluster. And you're talking about Matt Nagy, who's known to be in this offensive guru. So it just doesn't make any sense to me that how this person that I think he's the one that's actually calling the plays. So you have a person that's calling the plays and that's supposed to be this offensive guru and this quarterback whisperer, and this offense has been completely crap for the last 2 to 3 years. I don't know. This is something that they just have to they have to adjust, and they got to figure out. Now, I do believe the Bears got a bye week, but after that, you got the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night primetime football. So this was a very, very crucial game for the Chicago Bears. Very, very crucial game, because you got the Packers in a couple of weeks, and we could be seeing the Bears sitting at a 5-6 record after starting out as a 5-1 record. I don't know, man. This is just this has got to be a heartbreaking loss if you're a Bears fan. This might deplete any type of hope at all that Bears fans have had, especially when it comes to having hope that this team could make the playoffs or even have a deep run after their 5-1 start. That's all gone now, and I really do feel bad for Bears fans when it comes to that. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Bears fans, Vikings fans, if you guys want to discuss about what happened in this game, you guys can definitely do that in the comment section. If you guys want to see more content, more NFL weekly recaps, and more NFL content on this channel, make sure to subscribe to the notification bell so you guys can always stay up to date whenever I post a video. And make sure to hit the like button as well. It really helps out the channel as well. So anyway, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This is Jan716, aka Jan Sports. I'll check you guys out later. Peace. Make sure to have a good night.